Hey, are you buying a home in Minnesota? What we're going to talk about today on today's video is the pending process. Once you get a purchase agreement signed, that's really just the beginning. A lot of stuff has to happen. I'm here with Travis Anderson, a dynamic realtor in the Twin Cities area. We're going to talk about it from the realtor's perspective, what you need to do with the realtor, and then from the lender's perspective, and that's my part. I'm Peter Lindquist with the Lindquist Team, and thanks for joining us today. If you like today's video, please take a moment to give us the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And if you've got any comments whatsoever, please leave them in the comments below. So with that, Travis, let's go ahead and get started. I think a lot of my buyers want to know, they've signed a purchase agreement. What happens next? From your perspective, what happens next?
Yeah, once we have a purchase agreement, the very first thing we do is we have to deliver the earnest money. And we have to do that within a couple of business days. So we usually do that electronically, or we gather a check and we deliver that to the listing agent's company. So that would be the first thing. And then simultaneously, we'll schedule the inspection and we'll handle, obviously whatever contingencies come up during that inspection. Maybe we're inspecting visually, or we're doing a radon test or a sewer scope. Whatever inspections we agree on, we have to get those scheduled. And during that process, I actually turn them back over to you. We tell the buyer, let's reach out to Peter. He's going to handle the mortgage process, obviously. And so those are the big three: earnest money, inspections, and then giving them back to you.
And when you come to me after you've got a purchase agreement accepted, we've got a lot to do, especially in the first week to 10 days. The first thing that we're going to do is look at what interest rates are so that we can lock into a rate that works for you. And then we're going to collect any documentation that we're missing. On a lot of pre-approvals, you're looking for a few months. So you might have given me pay stubs, but those go out of date. So need some updated documentation. Then we're going through the process of onboarding your file, and we're sending you loan disclosures for you to e-sign. I'm introducing you to the rest of the team. We've got loan processors, assistants, we've got insurance people, a lot of people that are getting in touch with you in that first couple of weeks. We're also ordering out the appraisal. So in almost all transactions, we have to order out an appraisal on the home that is an independent third-party evaluation to make sure that the value of the home is at least what you paid for. We end up getting really busy with those kinds of things. I want to just touch on one more thing, and that is the cash flow of the transaction. So let's assume for the moment I tell you that you need $20,000 to buy this house, and you've already written $3,000 as earnest money. That $3,000 is a credit that you paid with Travis, and regarding the transaction, that $3,000 is a credit to the $20,000. So now you owe $17,000. Then I'm collecting for the appraisal, and that's anywhere from $500 to $800, depends on a variety of factors. That's a credit to the transaction. So now you've paid out earnest money and application fee. That's all a credit to that total. Okay. The only thing that is not included in that is inspections, because inspections aren't required. They should be, but they're not required, and so they're not in any of my estimates. So that's the basic part of the transaction. We get your file going through underwriting. We're all then waiting for the mortgage underwriter to give us the magic words, your loan is cleared to close. And that means that we've gone through all of the process, gotten all your documentation, given it to a mortgage underwriter, who then is giving us the okay that it all fits within your program parameters. Then it goes to our closing department. We're sending it to the title company for closing. So that brings us to the fun part of the transaction, Travis, and that's your part, and that's closing.
Yeah, and as we're going through this, it's interesting. There's sort of three big pieces to this puzzle. Is you've got the purchase agreement, the negotiation that gets us started with the earnest money and the inspections, moves over to you with the lender, where we're locking in a rate, doing the appraisals, and while that's happening, you and I are communicating. We're also communicating with the title company, and they're going to work with the seller to clear the title. And essentially what that means is that when a buyer buys it, they can just sell it the next day. That's really what it means to have cleared title. And so all of that's happening simultaneously. We get that clear to close. And now we schedule a final walkthrough. And what we do is we walk through the property, Peter, just to make sure that nothing's changed, right? Sometimes there's vandalism, sometimes there's broken screens or something like that. We just want to make sure that nothing's changed. So we do a final walkthrough. It's sort of fun. We normally take a picture with the client. And then the day after that, or maybe even the same day, we're going to closing. You've told the buyer how much money they have to bring with them, or maybe they're getting a little bit back up to their earnest money. But you've told them that amount, and we go to closing and we celebrate. It takes about an hour, and we sign a bunch of documents as a buyer, and then we celebrate the purchase of a home.
You know, some of my favorite closing stories are buyers who literally cry at closing because, you know, it's such a big achievement. I have a buyer who bought a special pen. It was like $50 or something to sign her closing documents. I mean, it's a big deal.
I love that. It's a great deal. Yeah. Some people still, they wear a suit and tie and stuff. They really, take it, you know, it can be very emotional for some. And then you might work with an investor who, shows up in a t-shirt and jeans and they don't read anything, right? And so,
Right.
yeah, everybody has their own experience and everyone is unique to them, and we love being a part of it.
Okay, well, you know, we've touched on the process after your purchase agreement. So it's called the pending process. We learned about what Travis talked about with the realtor, getting inspections done and getting the purchase agreement accepted. And we talked about what the lender does, and that's getting your rate locked and updating your documentation, getting your file through mortgage underwriting. And then the most fun part, we talked about closing, and that is a really big deal once you get to that table, especially for the first time. That's a big day, and we like to celebrate that with you. And then you're a homeowner. Then you walk away with the keys. So that's our video for today. I want to thank you for taking the time, and Travis, thanks for taking the time to talk this through with me as well.
Yes, my pleasure. Thanks, Peter. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks again, and you guys have a great day.